Welcome back to the pod, y'all. How you doing? My name is Brittany. Welcome. If this is your first time, thanks for being here. If this is your second time, third time, welcome back. Today we are talking about inner child work, but it's been a little sabbatical. I've been gone for 2 weeks. I was in Tucson traveling for work, and then I was back home in Wisconsin visiting the familia and seeing fall because let's face it, here in Texas, it's still 90 degrees, but finally it's finally feeling a little fally outside, so we'll take it. So happy to see you. Okay, but sometimes we just need to do that. Take a pause, take a breath, and then come back in whenever you're ready. I say that in my yoga classes too. I'm like, everything that I offer is just an offering. Take child's pose the whole time if that's what you need. We're all doing the best we can. You're doing great, sweetie. So, little treat for you, inner child work. I say treat, but it's a blessing and a curse. Get your pen and paper ready because you're going to start recognizing certain patterns and habits and behaviors that you didn't even realize you were doing because you've been doing them since childhood. Your inner child may be affecting your everyday life and you don't even know it because you're doing it subconsciously. Common signs, and I'm just gonna list them off for you, and you're gonna go, ooh, trigger, trigger words. Because I think all of us have multiple of these, but here we go. People pleasing, codependency, fear of abandonment, avoiding conflict, perfectionism, being unable to express your emotions, not being able to be your authentic self, having a problem starting a task, and not being able to get rid of possessions are just a few of the highlights for you. There you go. If you heard some of those and went, we've all got a few, at least a few. Okay. But we're all here for it. We're all working on it. We all have stuff, guys. I don't care who you are. None of us had the same upbringing. And whether we like it or not, a part of us wishes we had a certain kind of upbringing, a certain kind of parent. And we may be unknowingly going and looking for that parent out in the real world in a partner or in friendships. And these unfulfilled relationships we feel we have in here, we just have to go home to ourselves. And that's what we're doing, the inner child work. Hello. Okay. But that's what makes us so special, right? We all have different upbringings, and that's going to be part of our homework. We'll get into it. Once you recognize these behaviors, I want you to think back to how this habit or behavior or this fear even started. I'll tell you, I went to a Wanderlust yoga festival once and I went to this yoga class and it was an EFT tapping meditation. I'm like, what is this? Now I know what that is, right? But you tap into, if you're watching this on video, you tap into your certain channels. So top of your head, your cheeks, your chest, your chin, your rib cage, and you're just, your skin is an organ, so it holds onto emotions, and as you tap onto these certain channels, it brings the emotions up. Go, if you're into meditations, go YouTube it. 10-minute EFT tapping meditation. There's probably one for even for childhood. Okay. But while we're in this meditation, the instructor said, I want you to think back to the first time you felt pain. And when I say pain, I mean emotional pain. So I'm sitting there and I want you to think very Midwestern heartbreak love story. My parents, but really, I was a little girl. And when you're younger, you think your parents don't cry. They're the strongest people you know, but my dad had taken off on the Harley without my mom, and little me, younger me, is seeing my mom flick my dad. She's a badass. She flicks my dad off out the window, and she starts crying as she should have because she was sitting there in her leather chaps like a Cinderella, like took off without her, and I saw my mom cry for the first time, and little Brittany was like, "Oh my gosh, like mom doesn't cry." So in that meditation, she was like, "I want you to go back to younger you and just give younger you what you needed at the time." And honestly, I just needed to hear, look, girl, you're everything is okay. Mom is okay. Dad is okay. And sometimes just telling yourself now and even younger you, it's going to be okay. The body keeps the score. You're going to feel like it's okay. But when you see a parent cry, I mean, it brought something out of younger me. And even now, I mean, your parent, someone that you love hurts, you hurt, right? But I didn't realize, I think mostly since I moved out of Wisconsin, I say when I say alone on the journey in Texas, I just don't have my family here. So I didn't realize, yeah, I mean, I'm a strong, independent woman and I show up. I'll say that's more masculine when you show up in your I'm a bad I'll do it. I call myself my own daddy because I'll do it myself. I mean, I want people in my life. I'm not afraid to ask for help, let me tell you. But I didn't realize that I had a father wound and I did a father wound meditation and I just, whether we like it or not, we want certain things and we don't know then, but we look back and say, third grade me would have really liked if dad came to my soccer game. Stuff like that, guys. Little things that you might not think affected you when you were younger. Your birthday party. I always wanted to skate you birthday party. Never got it. Little things like that in your adulthood. Um, you might not know that you're doing. And I always am like, I celebrate my half birthday and my full birthday. I mean, I'm one of 6 kids. That's part of that too, is middle child syndrome. But now I mean, I shower myself with love and I always feel showered with love on my birthday. But it all comes back to self love and anything that your heart desires, you have to be able to give. You can't expect anybody else to give that to you. You have to be able to give that back to yourself. So, did the inner work. It was great. And one of the exercises that I did that I think honestly really helped, I heard someone else do this in a meditation I was listening to, and she said, I want you to go back and think to even before you were conceived, your parents wanted you. I'm the third child. So I'm like, yeah, they wanted a third baby, third girl. And dad was taking care of mom and when I was born, carrying me in his arms. And then as I got older, 3 years old, up on his shoulders, middle, and as we get old, even to this day, I mean, my dad is a pillar. My parents are pillars in my life. Anything that I need, they're there for me. But there might have been times when I was younger that I'm like, I wish I would have had this, or I mean, I'm stubborn. I've said it in different episodes where I remember I'm a millennial. I was applying for school and I told my dad, I need your information for FAFSA. Oh, good old FAFSA. And he's like, what do you need that for? I mean, he's a blue collar guy. He's an electrician. Amazing. He got his fortune from being an electrician. He's like, what do you need to go to college for? Look at what I have. I didn't have to go to college. And younger me was like, dad, they're doing it this way. I got to do it this way. Well, little did I know. Now I'm reversing, saying, now I want to go do my own thing. And, yeah, when you're younger, you just don't want to listen to your parents and you don't want to say, okay, mom and dad, you were right, but here I am. Help me, I'm poor. Just kidding. It's all part of the journey. So did that work and it really did transform the relationship in here that I had with my parents. And I didn't realize that that had me attracting certain partners into my life. Because yes, I used to say like, oh, I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need nobody. Like then I changed later and said, no, I want someone, and the partnerships would change. And I knew that I used to be hyper independent, where I'm like, I don't want anybody's help. But if you don't ask for help, you put all of that on yourself. And it's not what we're here to do on the journey. We're here to be a community and reach out to one another. And that's what I'm trying to do here by reaching out to you guys and saying, this is what I've learned through my journey. Hopefully, I can inspire you and you can learn from me. But when we when we grow up in our households, our parents raised us, right? So we're like, everybody else must think this way. But now that we're older, we get out into the real world and we're like, oh no, it's a totally different space out there. We all come and show up with different baggage. So the metaphor, right? You roll up, we all have different baggage. And some of that stuff that we show up with, it's for us. Some of it we might not even unpack. That's okay. Everything in that suitcase isn't for everybody else to see. And if you decide I'm not sharing certain qualities or certain things about me with anybody, that is your prerogative. That is totally up to you. There might be stuff in that suitcase that you decide to unpack with loved ones, with a partner, with someone new in your life, and it gets a little lighter to carry. It's all about balance. It's just not dumping everything on one person and knowing when it's so hard to say, okay, And I used to do it where I used to dump, 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 and be like, "You good?" And instead of internalizing things, I would just need to spit it all out. Now I'm really good at getting quiet and sitting in it, letting it, the thoughts and the feelings ruminate so I can really pinpoint what am I feeling, and then the thoughts come from there. Okay. So from here, if you're living your life for other people, you're not going to be happy, because I'm so fortunate that my parents never told me, go be a doctor, go be a lawyer, go live. I have this whole path lined up for you that you are supposed to do even before you were born. I know people that they had their lives planned out for them. Their parents had a certain idea for them that they had to do it a certain way. And I didn't. And something in me from a young age told me, I want something bigger than this. I want to go travel. I want to go out into the world. Like I just mentioned, followed the American dream, quote unquote, went to college, did that, and then moved away. But now you're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to take a different path. No matter how far down one path you go, it might take a little bit to steer the ship a different trajectory, but you are allowed to do it. And once you get on the alignment of where you're trying to go, it's going to get easier to flow. I can promise you that. Okay, so this is all part of the healing journey. And once you heal certain parts of yourself, you're going to start loving and leading your life in a totally different way. And I didn't mention it earlier, but even if you want to just shower younger you with metaphorical toys like a car, a T-Rex, a Turbo 3000, something that you wanted for Christmas when you were younger and it totally just devastated you that you never got it. I mean, give that to yourself now. I mean, they say, I'm not going through a midlife crisis here, but sometimes you hear, oh, they're going through a midlife crisis. They bought whatever car. And sometimes, I mean, toys, yeah, go buy yourself certain toys. I'm not saying go buy a car. I'm saying go buy yourself a cookie or ice cream, something like that. That makes me happy. And that's what we're going to do. Heal from the heart. It's never too late to decide what you want to do. I mean, I'm 34 and I'm not even deciding. This has been a long time coming that I've wanted to start my own business, start a podcast, start the yoga stuff. And it's just one little idea at a time. A seed is planted. This is just me. I'm sharing my story to hopefully, like I said, inspire you guys. And as I've been doing some of this work, we're our biggest critics, and you wouldn't talk to yourself the way you talk to other people. At least I wouldn't. And if you have a picture of younger you, put a picture of younger you in the bathroom, up in a mirror, somewhere you see a lot. And even maybe I just talk to myself, but talk to younger you and say, hey, how are you? You made it, baby. This is how things are going. Or even if there are things that you need to say to her or him for that day, start yourself with your positive affirmations. Um, so the homework for this week is writing down the certain habits, fears that you might have lingering from your childhood and where they might come from. Did your parents have a certain dynamic in their relationship? Did you have a certain even friendship wound? Did that hurt you so bad that in your adult friendships you still are having a hard time trusting? And we don't even know where certain triggers are coming from until we pause and say, whoa, this is the why. And it just takes getting quiet. So that's the homework. And then I have a yoga video. It is short and sweet, 20 minutes. It's fun. You guys get to sit and, well, you get to do the video with me. Every Sunday I like to practice my new flow. If you haven't tried it, go try it out. There's 2 yoga videos up there now. But if you have specific content you're wanting to hear, topics, whatever it might be, put it in the comment. Please, please, please rate, subscribe for the pod. My name is Brittany once again. We are here trying to get back into true alignment with ourselves. 15 minutes is this episode, goes and flies by. Have the best day, and I'll see you guys soon.